Welcome to MSP Unplugged's Resource Thursday with Synchro. I'm your host, Rick Smith. This is the place to learn tips, tricks, and strategies to run your IT service business. Whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Let me introduce my guest today, Emily.glass. She's the CEO of Synchro. How are you, Emily?
Good. How are you doing, Rick? Thank you for having me.
Good. Glad to have you. Doing okay. Normally, I would have someone else here, Mr. Paco Lebron, but he's out today. So he made the mistake of leaving the keys to the store to me to run. So we'll see how that turns out.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Well, before Emily and I get started talking about some of the exciting things at Synchro and what's going on there, I just want to give everybody a quick update. We are under the 2-month mark of TechCon Unplugged, which is September 16th to the 18th. At the Hilton Rosemont Chicago O'Hare. And you guys have heard the spiel all over again, but I'll just give the quick rundown here. It's to learn from like-minded business owners and vendors in the space, gain key takeaways from the partners there. And our favorite part of the show is basically the experience that you get from the one-on-one and the spontaneous conversations, where Paco likes to say the magic happens. It's where great friendships are made with other IT business owners, with vendors, connections are made, and where we learn to grow our business. We have some updates on the website, so I encourage everyone to go to techconunplugged.com for updates. We talked about the pre-day with Huntress and Cyber Matt Lee, which is the tabletop exercise. We've updated a lot of the breakout sessions and all those things that are coming through. And we also would like to welcome one of our newest sponsors, Synchro, who will have a booth at the table as well. So thank you, Synchro, and thank you, Emily.
We're excited. So
great. So everyone, again, get your tickets at techconunplugged.com. If you are a member of our Facebook group, there is a discount code there, and most of your vendors that you have will have discount codes. So if you're looking for one of those to save a couple of bucks, do that, or give us an email at info@mspunplugged.com. Too many unplugs, and we can get you some savings out there as well. Okay, now that we're done with our public service announcement, Emily, again, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a nice sunny day here in the Boston area, and I'm like I said, I'm happy to be here. Excited for the conversation today.
That's great. Now, before we get started on Synchro itself, can you give us a little, I know you have an extensive background here, so can you give us a little background on Emily and how your journey got you to Synchro?
Yes, I can. I'll try to keep it short because I'm getting older, so the story's getting longer. So I was born in Montreal, and I actually have a degree in computer engineering. So I began my journey in tech from an early age and education. I also have a fine arts degree, and I've taught art for a lot of years, and I'm an artist. So I took sort of the creative aspects from the art side and combined it with the technology side. And started my journey in tech. And some of my early positions, I was a support engineer. I was a product manager. I worked a lot on usability and design. And then through the acquisition of Backupify in 2014, I fell into the MSP space when Datto acquired us, and I started to learn about what the MSP industry even was, right? And it was growing and changing at the time. So I kind of learned along as the MSP industry was maturing as well. And at Datto, I got to have the wonderful experience of leading our customer experience group. So I built out the tech support 24/7, 365 team. I also led our hardware logistics group, so all the assembly of our devices, and a lot of other groups, our training group, our services group. And then eventually I was chief product officer in my last few years there, and I led our product strategy. Then I left the MSP world for a year, decided to dabble in some other things, but I got drawn back in when I was made the offer to join Synchro as CEO, and I could not refuse. I love being in tech. I love the MSP industry. It's always changing, so there's always something new to learn, and I'm so happy to be back as the CEO of Synchro.
Great. Tell us, I'm going to get back to your experience at Datto, or how that relates to current events here.
Mm.
But at Synchro now, I know they've been making some improvements, and I know you guys are I'm a part of the Facebook group, and we're a little opinionated
Me too.
sometimes about.
Don't tell
Okay,
anyone.
so
Me
so you watch and you lurk, huh? But
Oh yeah.
we know, I know that you guys have made some improvements. I know you have some things coming down the pipeline for us. I don't know exactly what they are, but I've been I'll confess to the audience, and everyone knows this already, but I've been a Synchro user since the beginning. And I love the product. So, that is the Rick version of it. I love the product. It suits my needs. There are, of course, things that I would like to see improved, or, things I'd like to have that I think would make my experience a little better. But what I do appreciate from you guys is the communication, the response. So, there are some of us who don't see things happen as fast as we would like. But I guess what I'm trying to get to is give us a little insight on how you guys go about, prioritizing what you do for updates. And I don't know if you have a specific roadmap, because I know you don't publish one, but anything coming up we should be excited about?
Sure. That was a lot of questions in one, and I will
I'm
try
sorry.
to comment. No, it's okay. I want to comment on all of those things. So
I'm
remind
excited.
me
That's
if
what
I
it is.
lose track of something. And I'm glad you disclosed that you're a Synchro user. We're very happy to have you as a partner. So yeah, I do sit in the Facebook group. I also read. I try to read as much of the comments, not only there, but in other communities. We have a Synchro community, for example, on Reddit. I am a true believer that all information is valid, right? It's the person's point of view, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. It has validity, and it's important to listen to. And take into consideration, because we really try to be transparent and open with our communications, acknowledging issues, and giving people insight into what's coming next. I am not saying we are perfect by any stretch. It's definitely a journey that we're on, and I'm new, so I'll continue to make changes where needed as I sort of grow and learn about Synchro in my journey there. But that's what we're striving for. And it's something that I've, believed in since I worked even at Datto in tech support. I had the same philosophy. So it's a philosophy I've held for a number of years. Specifically, it's been challenging. I'm new. I joined Synchro at the end of last year. So I'm still learning, what's happened historically and where we need to take things in the future. And it's an interesting balance we always have to strive between sort of improving and maintaining like the core platform and features that we have today, and then adding new things that our community is asking for. And if you're in the Facebook community, you will have seen these kind of two different threads about like, stop developing new things, invest in what you already have. So every time we launch something new, we get that, or we get a little bit of that. And then, we add something, we focus on platform stability, and then we get like, why can't you add this feature? So I know there's a balance there. I think both points of view are valid. We're trying to make those trade-offs appropriately. And hopefully the community has seen that we've launched a lot of things that have been in demand lately. So that's really, we're about MSP-driven development. We don't want to build things that aren't valuable for our partners. Like that doesn't benefit anyone. We believe that we grow when our partners grow. So we might miss the mark. Like I said, we might not be perfect every time. No one is, but that's our goal, right? That's what we're trying to do. And if we mess up, we will own it. And I've already had to do that in the community publicly. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm not happy we messed up, but I do believe in owning that and being transparent about that and handling requests. So when we mess up, I contact partners directly. I email them directly. I've had a lot of like stunned people when I email them back going like, oh, I thought this was like some mass email. Like there's a person at the end of this. I read all the comments, nice or not nice, and I process those because like I said, it's valid. And we know that we're supporting people's businesses first and foremost and livelihoods. And I take that really seriously. So that's a little bit about our philosophy and transparency and where we've come from. You asked about the roadmap. Should I
Yes.
keep talking? I know I've been talking a lot.
Keep going.
So yeah,
I'm just
so I mentioned.
absorbing it all in.
Okay. So what we've shipped already this year, like I said, has been the top demanded things. We shipped OS patching, which was a much requested feature for a long time, more on the RMM side.
Thank you.
For Windows patching a few months ago. We also fixed a bunch of things for our UK partners in terms of handling tax and VAT for them specifically, which has made them much more happy. And we've been expanding in that region as well. And we launched some other changes, like we launched a Mac agent earlier this year. And we've shipped some more integrations, specifically like Webroot security awareness training very recently. So we're trying to give people a more complete platform to manage their clients and business. We've also teased that coming soon will be rich text editing and more sort of rich communications through tickets with your end clients. So we've added support for like images and bolding and highlight, like all the fancy things you might want to do in your tickets. And that'll be coming out soon. And we've already sort of told the community about that. So those are some of the recent additions. And then coming beyond that, I'll just talk about our focus areas. So we're really focused on 3 things for the next 6 to 12 months. One is adding more features that support MSP's growth through business operations. I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. So that's 1. 2, focused on platform reliability and security. It's still a core concern. As threats evolve and things change and the platform scales every month. That one's going to be there probably, for eternity. And then the third area is just more simplicity in the product. So for business ops, I'll go back and talk about each 3 a little bit. For business ops, it's more depth in the PSA area. We know that there's more we can do. We've heard from partners loud and clear. There's more we can do around ticket workflows, managing automation through tickets and invoicing. So we're going to be adding support for ACH through Stripe, which has also been a top requested addition to the platform. And that's under that umbrella of changes we want to make. Platform reliability, I think I said everything I want to say there. It's a constant concern. It's a constant thing we're monitoring, making sure that we're looking ahead to make sure that the platform will be stable as we grow and add more customers and endpoints. And then lastly, the simplicity. So we still think that we're one of the most sort of simple to use, easy to get started with platforms on the market. That could always be better, and we could always have more complete and integrated functionality. So we added the Webroot security awareness training product. We're going to be adding more integrations with products that aren't our expertise, but that help MSPs automate billing, automate their workflows, handle things in a more sort of streamlined and standardized manner. And that's really, what you're going to see from us over the next 6 months there too. So I hope that helps clarify.
That does. And I asked that question more as a fanboy than an interviewer, just because I'm excited just to, see what's coming along. Again, as a user, there are always going to be pain points with everything you use, but I do appreciate that you guys have been, historically responsive. Andy is in the Facebook group a lot, and all the time, and he gives it to us straight, and I appreciate that. And now that I know that, you read the comments, so you know what's going on and how people feel, which is important. I think for all of us as MSPs, as customers of yours, it's important for us to know that you're hearing what we're saying. And sometimes, again, I say this before, change doesn't necessarily come as fast as we want it, but it's always satisfying when it happens.
Yeah.
And so we do appreciate that. I if I have to give one shout out, that the biggest and best thing for me has been the patching. That has been just great for a lot of us. It takes a big burden off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we heard that feedback, and thank you for that. And also, I want to acknowledge that at the end of last year, I think, we had some communications in the community that said we were leaving and we weren't going to participate. And I hope you've seen that we've reversed that position. I really believe that we should meet our partners and customers where they are, whether that's in our community or in Facebook or Reddit, like wherever they are, in emails to me, whatever the case may be. I want to make sure that we're listening. however MSPs want to give us feedback. So that's definitely part of my philosophy that I want to make sure is clear. And I was curious because I talked a lot about the roadmap. Was there something not in there that you're waiting for, or that I didn't talk about on the roadmap generally as focus areas that you're like, how could you miss this thing?
Well, I will say this, and this is, take it as a constructive criticism or just my wish list is some more. I think
now I have to take notes, Rick.
I personally think the RMM side of Synchro is fine. It does its job. I would like to see more on the PSA side. I think, I'm sorry about the noise.
You have somebody vacuuming outside the door now.
There's the landscaper.
Oh, there you go.
So excuse me. Just on the PSA side, the just some, I know you guys will have some improvements, I'm sure, coming out on the PSA side. And that's where I think the struggle for me is, or not even struggle, but where I would like to see some
more investment. Yeah. So that's what I meant by the business operations and the ticketing workflow, the invoicing. That's definitely, as you mentioned, we released OS patching. It's kind of like the biggest request on the RMM side. So yes, we are now switching our focus a little bit to invest more on the PSA side of things. So I hope you'll be pleased with what comes out next, starting with like the rich ticket communications.
Yeah, I think, again, I think you guys do a great job. So, and when you don't, we tell you, you know it. And
but that's great, again, right? Because some partners are, some industries, customers are silent, or there's not a good way to get feedback to the company, to the vendor, to the CEO, and we're pretty open about that, and that's, I think, critical to our success, right? And then MSP success is we want to build things that the community wants to see.
Right, exactly, and it's extremely, for us, is we just want to know. Sometimes it's just, we're like kids. We just want to know we're being heard. And I think you guys do a great job of that. One of the questions I did want to ask, I know you have a background with Datto, and the big talk, for the last 4 months now, I guess 5, and I know that the deal is closed now, the Datto Kaseya merger. How is that? Well, okay, let's put it this way. Give me, as a CEO in the industry, as a competitor, give me your take on that.
Yeah, the situation there. Yeah, and as you said, we've been seeing it unfold over a few months now, and I think it's actually going to take more months to kind of settle down, because the process of a large acquisition like that just takes a long time to figure out and make all the decisions that need to be made around like people and products and operations, right, in the business. So I think it's going to take a while to figure out all those things and get clarity as a competitor CEO or as a customer or partner of those products, to really see like how the dust is going to settle on all of that. And I think, we've seen more recently the reaction from the Datto employees and team and partner base with some of the changes that they're concerned about, right? There's some uncertainty, and I think we see their reaction to that uncertainty. And Datto has had a really passionate culture internally, but also a passionate following with partners, right? So I think it's not surprising to see that there's been a very strong reaction to uncertainty or proposed changes at the company there. I think, as far as Synchro is concerned, and being the Synchro CEO, I can tell you that culture is really important. And from my time at Datto, I know, culture is really important, right? And at Synchro, we really value the culture and how we treat our team internally, and then that translates to how our partners experience Synchro as well, right, and their interactions. So, we're really focused on taking care of our employees, encouraging discussion internally, and we believe that, our employees who build and support the software are critical to Synchro. Like, Synchro is our people. If we don't have people, we have nothing, and that includes our team and our partners. So we have a huge focus on culture, and uncertainty there can cause all sorts of noise and concerns, as I think we're seeing play out right now.
Yeah, definitely. I was at I'm actually at Build It IT. Well, it's in New Jersey where I live, and Rob Ray spoke yesterday, and it's funny how he was speaking about the future, and he kept speaking more. It was just funny. I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was out of habit of speaking as of Datto as its own company, and then he had to keep correcting himself back about, now Kaseya is not a competitor, but basically a owner. But
that makes sense. He probably has a lot of muscle memory built up around that, having worked at Datto for so long. So I got to give the guy a break.
We all laughed about it because we know it wasn't intentional. It was just part of probably given that, similar talk each time. It was just, the way it came out. But it was, I just thought it was humorous for everyone in the audience. It was just humorous. But it did create, the deal itself, that happening. And now again, I'll speak. I'm not a Datto partner. I've had one Kaseya product, and I did not have a very good experience with it. But doesn't put me in a position to cast any, real qualified opinion on whether that's good or that's bad. But I do know that it has created a lot of, uncertainty in the market. And does that for Synchro, does that, I guess it helps you guys to refocus. I know you talk about the importance of your people, the importance of the culture, and I'm bringing that up to come to something else that I think is very important. I'm a father of three. Everyone who knows, I'm a father of three women, three young women now. They're getting along. All my moms and wives is what I call them. But I think, as I talk to them about what I do and trying to get someone interested in it, and none of them are interested in tech, and they don't see enough women in tech. So I guess my question to you is, as a female executive, take out first, as a CEO is a great thing, but just as a female in a male dominated industry, how is that? And how do you make the adjustment?
How did that happen, right? Against all odds. So, I'll start. I think there's a commentary about, how do we get more young people involved and interested in tech, right? And that's going to take a long time to play out, but I still think it's a worthwhile endeavor. So I think a lot of, how do we get more women and girls interested in tech starts with recognizing that there's a lot of conditioning that happens from a really early age, not necessarily even consciously, right? Just social media and who they see in those positions in the world, right? They're watching the news and they see a male CEO and never like a woman CEO commenting. It's all these kind of conditioning in the background, right? That happens, that tells the story of what the possibilities are for their future, right? And again, it's not even conscious anymore. It's just the society that we live in and the conditions that we live in. So I think part of the solution is really, being aware of that. And as a parent, so, like you said, you had 3 daughters, being very conscious about that and making an effort to point out the counterexamples, right? And try to counter that conditioning with other stories consciously that show the possibilities that are available to your daughters or to anyone really, right, from different backgrounds. So not just women who have struggled to make a way in the tech space either. And then I think, the second piece of that is encouraging people to be more curious. This also can start from a young age, but I think this helps sort of throughout your career or your personal journey, is just be curious about, why aren't there more women at this MSP conference? Or why don't I see women leaders in my company or in my MSP? There's a lot of books, articles, media on the challenges that women face that, people can read about, like what does it look like? So you don't have to rely on talking to a woman about their experience. You can read. Harvard Business Review has a lot of great articles about some of the cultures and the issues that exist for women. So I would encourage folks to read about that. And then I think, when you start to notice the conditioning and notice the presence or lack of women in your day-to-day life in tech, I would encourage you to sort of, not you, I'm talking globally, your audience, to start thinking about like, that's interesting. What might I be missing? because there aren't, this isn't a more maybe inclusive or diverse environment. And think about what you might do next, right? It could be as simple as sharing that article, or having a conversation with someone you work with or someone in your family to raise awareness. So I know, I wish I had like a easy, quick solution for you. I don't. I think it's a lot of those steps, and over time, it's going to continue to get better. And then I think one last comment. I think, part of the reason why I'm on your show, part of the reason why I get up every day is to really be that role model and that example for women like myself in tech who are wondering, can I do it? Should I do it? Is it possible? What's it like? I'm here to talk about that and show that it is possible, and be that example and help. So I coach and mentor and talk to a lot of women, not only in Synchro, but in the industry in general, because for that reason, because I want them to know that it is possible.
Right. That's great. I'm going to ask this question, and I hope it comes out right. And, I'm just piggybacking on what we were just talking about. Now, I hope I say this right. Again, when you go to conferences or, however you see the landscape of, you'll see mostly males and a few females sprinkled in there. And then when you talk to some of them, they are not necessarily the business owners or the technical side of it. They are more so the operational side of it. I guess we would say more so the sales, the marketing, the, all the other things. I really will say the important things that make the company run, right? Which, in one sense is awesome. But do you try to draw the distinction between those who are, having more technical skills or being the actual tech? I hope the question came out correctly.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. There are more sort of traditional maybe roles that women can see themselves in tech. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think it should be a limiting factor either.
Okay.
So I think, I've seen a lot of great examples of women who have started in a more maybe administrative role or non-technical role at a tech company. And that has allowed them to see like, oh, I could do that other job over there if I just learned this skill, and work their way into the more technical side of the business if they don't have that sort of formal training from the get-go. So, it's not a bad thing to be in the environment and then to grow from there and to find a company that will support your career growth in that way. And I also think that, a lot of the reason why we don't see more women who have pursued technical degrees or technical roles is, again, for the same reasons I already outlined, is that there's not enough examples. They're conditioned that, that's more of a male role to take, and they don't see enough women there. So I hope to see more coverage and more role models for folks to look up to, and more conversation about it, again, to explore the possibilities, because there's no reason why a woman can't do a technical job at all. So it's just, it's social conditioning and something we need to talk about and work on.
Right. This is funny because I try to encourage my girls to pay attention to what's going on. I have one who's in college who is interning with me this summer, but she's like, well, I can't do that. And I can't say, yes, you can, if you just take and a lot of things I'd say the kids these days are mutants because they spend as much time, all the time they spend on their personal devices. I guess they don't pick up or realize how many skills they pick up and they can do. And this one now, my middle child is doing all the graphic arts for us because she's very good at it and basically self-taught, and if she takes a little more time to, enhance that, I think she'll be great. But she's like, I can't do that. And it's just, so it's kind of like, I'm hoping that I'm going to force her to watch this episode and hear you and see you as an example of where she could be if she wanted to in the technical side of it and not be as I don't know, worried about it, I guess.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love if she watches it and takes something away. And also, you make a good point about how there's actually two pieces here, right? There's a impetus on on the individual, right, to stretch themselves, put themselves out there, be brave, be courageous, try new things, and take that approach. And then there's an impetus on, like in your case, you were saying you're the employer of your daughter, right, for the summer, or the company or whomever you're working for, to make the space open to failure and learning and growth and encouraging people to take those chances. And it's both of those things combined that need to happen, right? It's not one or the other alone that's going to make it work. It's really both together.
Exactly. Okay, well, it looks like we're gonna, I don't want to, go over on time on you too much here. We have passed our cap here, but I'm just gonna ask you, I guess, two more main questions. One, as far as Synchro goes, we all know, most of us are familiar with your product and most of us use it. For those who don't know, can you just give us a little bit about basically your partner program, commitments, pricing, things along that nature?
Sure. Let's end with the beginning. As you're talking, I'm like, that would have been a great thing for me to talk about at the beginning of this. Yes. So for folks who don't know, but are still listening, Synchro is a combined RMM and PSA platform with remote access included. We try to give everybody, our MSPs, a complete platform with everything that they need to start, run, and grow their business. And to your point about pricing and sort of how terms, our pricing is transparent. It's on our website. It's $119 if you commit for an annual contract. It's $129 if you want to go month to month. We really believe in being clear about the pricing. It's per tech, so it's not by endpoint. It's very straightforward, and the goal is to kind of match the way that MSPs do business, right? And so not make people commit to a long-term contract or anything that they won't be able to afford and won't scale with their business really well. So that's the philosophy behind sort of our pricing model and the functionality that we offer.
Right. Now, you guys do offer a trial as well, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you can go to syncromsp.com. Thanks for plugging the trial, and sign up for a free trial. No credit card, no hassle. Anytime you would like, it's available to sign up for and try the full functionality of the product.
Right. I just bring that up because I always think it's important. If you take it out for a spin and see what you like, and if you get the full functionality of it, for the most part, if it fits you're going to commit and go on. So, and I guess the last question is, we spent some time talking about, talking about your role and your influence on the community as a, I don't even like to say, but as a female CEO, and the Dado Kaseya. But is there anything else about Synchro itself, or anything you think we should know, or you think we didn't hit on here that would be important to our audience?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Maybe a couple of things. One, Synchro continues to grow a lot and our partners continue to grow a lot. So maybe if you checked out the free trial even 6 months ago, or 12 months ago, we've added a lot since then. So I would encourage people to try it again, right? And see if it now meets their needs, because we have made a lot of changes, and we continue to grow and add more things. So that would be one thing. And then I think the second thing is that, as I mentioned, I'm open to communications from partners. I provide everyone my email address. So even if you're not a Synchro partner, you can always reach me at ceo@syncromsp.com. And I am a real human. I don't even have an admin. So you will get an answer from me personally if you email me at that address. And I'm like I said, I read everything and I'm very open to feedback. So I'd love to hear from folks.
Okay. Well, Emily, I do want to thank you so much for your time today. I do apologize for us going a little over, but I think it was a great conversation. And I think that the community will benefit from it. And we definitely, I did announce this, that Synchro will be present at TechCon Unplugged. So come by their booth and check them out. If you need more information or just want to come by and say hi. We would like to remind everybody to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. And newly on LinkedIn, there's a very long URL. So I'll just say, if you hashtag MSP Unplugged, you'll find the latest video there. You can also just subscribe, hit the notification button so you'll know when new episodes are coming. And you can also take us on the go with your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I want to thank everybody for listening. We'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.